Welcome to the Rush Hour, your daily dose of pop culture for your rush hour ride. Buckle up and enjoy the drive with your host, stand-up comedian Dave Neal.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you on this December 1st, 2025. I got all of your stories for your rush hour ride to work. If you're anything like the majority of people out there, you're hungover from a bunch of Thanksgiving food, but we are going to fill you up nonetheless with a lot of pop culture and politics to keep you informed for your work day here. So we're going to get into some new information that's been unsealed by the Justin Baldoni crew. Baldoni versus Blake Lively is only several months away from hitting the trial, and a lot of documents have been unsealed over the weekend. We made a video about a half hour long, including a lot of those new things coming out, but as it's trickled out, we'll continue to cover it, plus an update on the Justice for Clayton movement, as we're getting a little bit more information about that police raid that took place at the Owens family estate. And then we'll talk more about Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, as he calls himself, and why people, a lot of folks in the military, JAG lawyers, people in the know are saying he may get charged with war crimes. That's right, might get charged with murder. I'll explain why, and then we'll have some thoughts from Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, as he was called out by Trump. I'm really not sure why over the weekend. Sometimes it's just your time to get called out. So all these stories and more starts right now on The Rush. And let's just break things open with a quick rewind of what went down over Thanksgiving. Maybe you fought with your parents, but I'll tell you what, no one took a spill like this lady on the stilts. This is at the Macy's Day Parade. Look at that. Hey, I've always wondered, does anyone fall down? It looks like it was actually a wardrobe malfunction there. It got stuck there, slow-mo. So we're hearing she's okay. So she's doing better than these dancers, which also have gone viral at the Macy's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I really hate to share this one, but it looks like a horse from the parade had relieved itself at a very inopportune place, and then the show must go on, right? These dancers had to dance in okay, maybe that's too much for a Monday morning. Let's move it on from there. Let's get into the Blake Lively stuff. We have two different Blake Lively stories. One, Blake Lively telling Baldoni's to stop crying, which, by the way, since I had a baby, I can't stop crying myself. I watch one TikTok video of someone hugging their baby, and I just cry. So am I broken? Am I alive? I don't know. But here we have from It Ends With Lawsuits. Blake takes the liberty to kiss Justin on the neck 3 times in one take, and then none on the other take. That sounds like spontaneous and improvised kissing to me. Justin, to me, also looks taken aback when she kisses him on the neck, like it was unexpected. What do you guys think? Now, we've seen this be a problem more often where male actors have been accused of going too far in a scene. And including in this case, right? Blake Lively has accused him of unwanted kissing, biting her lips and whatnot. I don't think in a normal rom-com it would be too out of the ordinary if one take you kiss 3 times and the next take you kiss 4. It's kind of worked out beforehand. At least it should be in today's modern world with the intimacy coordinator. But no one's saying, oh, you kissed me 7 times. It was supposed to be 6. No one's saying that. But since Blake has made the claim to Baldoni that he has been the one doing unwanted kissing, I think that's why this is now going viral. As you see here in the scene, Blake in slow motion does multiple kisses to Justin Baldoni. Now, it's not like they're at a Starbucks here cheating on their family. They are in the middle of shooting the scene. But in this take, she doesn't do the kiss, just a hug. Now, you could argue, yeah, you do different types of kissing because you want to give just like you do different moods of acting, where you want to give the director and the editor choices in the editing room. Oh, we tried it this way, we tried it that way. Now, it could be that Baldoni says, kiss me on this take, don't kiss me on that take. But I think this is the type of evidence that jurors are going to have to look at when they try to get tick-tacky on did he go too far? Did she go too far? They're also going to show the scene in the hospital where Blake gives him a kiss, and it wasn't written in the scene. So again, it might feel tick-tacky, but it's because, it's because she's accusing him of these things. Does she live up to the threshold of the type of respect that she wants, So we have a lot of information coming out from this timeline that was just revealed So bear with me here. It's kind of blurry. Blake Lively upset that Jamie Heath, one of the producers of Wayfair, asked her sister for a hug. She also told Baldoni that he couldn't cry anymore. This is one of those things. It's like if you tell someone not to cry, they're probably going to cry more. That's how crying works, right? A bunch of dads out there, man up, son. Oh, but I just want to be loved. Blake took Alex, Justin, and Jamie to her trailer to discuss the complaints she had about them. These complaints included the sexy comment, Jamie Heath showing the birth scene, Justin Baldoni that he should not cry anymore. So she told Justin Baldoni he should not cry anymore, and then told Jamie Heath that he looked at her in the trailer and says that she was offended that Jamie Heath asked Miss Lively's sister for a hug and then minimized HR concerns. She also mentioned something to Alex Sachs that I can't recall. So again, these are just all being unsealed in this giant timeline of events. Some of it sounds like meaningless, this idea that Jamie Heath was trying to hug Blake Lively's sister. But then again, you look at paparazzi video of Blake Lively hugging, was it a culture where hugging, could it be that the culture on this set is that hugging is the norm? I mean, in a lot of sets, you treat it like, theater camp, right? Where everyone's, they're in a massage circle. No, I'm not saying you should be doing that. I'm just saying, what is the sort of like overarching abuse that happened here? I don't think hugging and crying is enough to accuse someone of harassment. I could be wrong, but I hug and cry every time I watch a new Christmas movie. All right, let's go to this Justice for Clayton story shared on the subreddit and also here on Twitter. On Thanksgiving, Ron Owens, or someone from the Owens family, shilled his GoFundMe again, asking his former KGO audience for money in light of his health issues and his impending bankruptcy. He also revealed that the SWAT raid on his home, the online smear campaign targeting his daughter, and her legal charges that greatly mischaracterized who she is and what she stands for. A Facebook member asked what the SWAT raid was after. Ron responds that the raid was for a search warrant looking for literature related to prosthetic pregnancy stomachs and fake pregnancy tests. Now, this whole time, I've assumed that Laura Owens was sort of pretending to be Ron Owens and running his Facebook account, but I don't know if Laura would offer this information, So maybe it really is Ron, and maybe Ron can't believe in his state of mind that his daughter would put on a fake belly, but we all know she did. Like, we know, we watched it on camera as she moved it. She stood up for like an hour-long hearing. Why? I mean, she clearly has a chair, right? But she stood. Who stands up for an hour? And now you might say, well, you don't want to get your legs bloated. Sitting is the new smoking. All right, I hear you. I understand. But you guys know, if you watch this hearing, she was altering the camera angle to make sure you could see the belly and moved in a weird way. Her fundal height was all off. And then, of course, she asked the judge, can I show my belly to Clayton, in which case the judge says, what? No, what are you talking about? No, you can't. So either way, this information's wild. And, people are, accusing Ron Owens of really committing fraud. That's what the accusation is, because they're calling it a fraudulent GoFundMe. The guy gets $20,000 a month in retirement, made over $1 million a year, and people are calling that out, saying, what are you doing? So look, right here, people bringing in $20K a month plus whatever retirement Jan is getting do not need to be grifting off of people. Sell your assets, move into a 2-bedroom apartment, start paying your bills off. Laura needs to get a job instead of spending $300 a month on a gym membership. I mean, not exactly wrong. Good comments there. Just audience, because how many folks out there are going through hard times in life going, wait a second, you mean to tell me this guy's begging for money online? Begging for money online when he's already received $130,000 or so from his audience? He's running they were running a Facebook ad promoting the GoFundMe. How is this illegal? So either way, did they find literature related to prosthetic pregnancy stomachs? No idea. No idea if they found that. I feel like I would have known by now. But again, you have to remember, Laura had about a year's heads up to get rid of any of that. Now the question is, what's up with the sort of fertility treatment or diet clubs that she may have contacted to receive HCG injections? Again, all of that will come out during the trial, unless she accepts a plea deal, which we will know in the coming weeks. I personally don't expect that to happen. I think she's looking forward to a trial. I think she's looking forward to the attention that'll come from that trial. I just don't know if she's delusional enough to think she'll win. All right, coming up next, more Thanksgiving news. This one, a sad story. College freshman deported, flying home for Thanksgiving surprise, despite a court order. More of this and a couple other stories involving potential war crimes coming right after a quick word from our sponsor. The holidays are all about finding the perfect gift, but this time of year, not every deal is actually what it seems. Scammers are getting more creative to trick people into sharing their payment info through methods like fake shopping sites and giveaways that are too good to be true. Luckily, Cash App's 24/7 fraud monitoring helps detect and alert you for unusual card activity should someone gain access to your card, so you can act fast if something seems off. You can also lock or unlock your Cash App card instantly right in the app for extra control and peace of mind. Stay one step ahead of scams this season and keep your money secure with Cash App. For a limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code SECURE10 in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. The Rush Hour is sponsored by Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the best to become your best. I actually gifted Masterclass to my brother who was looking for some self-improvement ideas. I gifted him a class about developing good, repeatable habits from Atomic Habits author James Clear. With Masterclass, you get thousands of bite-sized lessons across 13 categories that can fit into even the busiest of schedules. Turn your commute or workout into a classroom. With audio mode, you can listen to Masterclass lessons anytime, anywhere. With plans starting at $10 a month, billed annually, you get unlimited access to over 200 plus classes taught by the world's best business leaders, writers, chefs, and more. There's no risk. Every new membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Masterclass always has great offers during the holidays, sometimes up to as much as 50% off. Head over to masterclass.com/rush hour for the current offer. That's up to 50% off at masterclass.com/rush hour, masterclass.com/rush hour. How frustrating is this? A college freshman trying to fly from Boston to Texas to surprise her family for Thanksgiving was instead deported to Honduras in violation of a court order. She's 19 years old, passed through security in Boston, and was told there was an issue with her boarding pass, said her attorney. The Babson College student was then detained by immigration officials, within 2 days sent to Texas and then Honduras, the country she left at the age of 7. This is really scary stuff going on out there. Okay, look, she's going to college, right? Any immigrant who lives in our country who is putting themselves through college, don't you think they would be a value to our system? I mean, they're like Elon Musk now is saying if you violate, American ideals that you should be deported, even as an American citizen. They're making wild claims out there. Look, at some point, I say, like, if they want to deport me for standing up for the Constitution, do I even want to be in this country anymore? You got to seriously ask these questions, right? Now, we've got a wild story. This is Adam Kinzinger. And Pete Hegseth, the Department of War, Department of Defense, whatever the hell you want to call him, he's been in the Gulf of America blowing up Venezuelan boats. I'm going to share why Adam Kinzinger thinks he has committed a war crime. It's a pretty crazy story. Have a listen.
Hey guys, this whole story about Hegseth and the second strike on the boat. So these boats from Venezuela that the U.S. military has been striking. The very first boat, it just came out today, that after it was destroyed and the smoke cleared, they saw 2 survivors hanging onto it and then ordered a second strike. And it was SEAL Team 6 that hit them the second time. I want to be very clear about something. That sounds like a war crime. There are rules to war, which is if somebody is no longer a combatant, which clearly these 2 weren't, if they no longer pose a threat, which clearly these 2 didn't, they should be either taken prisoner or, in case of the maritime law, which has all kinds of rules, They should have actually been rescued and not killed.
And by the way, if they actually did have drugs on these boats, don't you think the U.S. government would rather seize those drugs, find out where they come from, pose for the photo op? This is a government that loves a good photo op. So this is all the way back to October 30th, but it's coming in greater light now. Captain Mark Kelly, Senator, astronaut Mark Kelly, American hero, did dozens of missions there in the, fighting in war. I mean, the guy's decorated, right? He's very decorated. Desert Storm, things like that. Well, he now was, he's been, really showing the alarms for a while, saying, listen, these boats being blown up, this drug smuggling, even if it is going on, these are drugs being shipped off to Europe, if that, and it's cocaine, not fentanyl.
Hey, if you don't know what's going on in the Caribbean and in the Pacific to the west of Mexico right now, the United States has been conducting a lot of strikes against boats. Some of these boats, we think, are carrying drugs. The President said this is about stopping fentanyl getting into the United States. In the Caribbean, that clearly is not the case. These are the routes that are traditionally used to take cocaine, marijuana to Caribbean islands and then on to Europe.
And by the way, these boats wouldn't even have enough fuel to make it to the United States. The same problem that exists for the people who believe this nonsense, they don't realize how ripped off they're getting. They don't understand how much $1 billion is and how rich the president has gotten and others who surround themselves with the president. They don't understand, a cabinet full of billionaires, how much money that actually is. And they don't understand the concept of how big the Caribbean is, how these boats would have to fuel up dozens of times before even making it to the United States. They are not our problem.
This also doesn't appear to be within the legal authority of the U.S. government to just make a decision to kill drug smugglers. Hey, we don't want drugs smuggled into the United States, especially fentanyl, which kills people. But this is a law enforcement operation, and it also puts service members in jeopardy. I'm really concerned about these young pilots, drone operators out there that might be doing things they will later find were illegal.
Yeah, and this is why Mark Kelly and others in the CIA and politicians got together. They call them the Seditious Six, where they said, if you receive an unlawful order, you do not have to follow it. Because they know that when this all goes to trial, and it will, the people that pulled the trigger, SEAL Team 6, they might also be metaphorically going down with the ship. So that was from 2 months ago, over a month ago, right? Well, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has responded over the weekend. As usual, the fake news is delivering more fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory reporting to discredit our incredible warriors fighting to protect the homeland. We've said from the beginning, these highly effective strikes are specifically intended to be lethal kinetic strikes. So they claim that they've got all the vetting to do this, even though Congress has not declared a war. So where is the vetting? And of course, people have stepped down in the military that obviously didn't want to be taking these killing commands. Harry Sisson responded, to be clear, you aren't denying the reporting and are confirming you killed 2 defenseless people who we don't know if they were guilty or not, who didn't pose an immediate threat instead of prosecuting them. We'll see what a jury thinks during your trial in 2029. Congressman Eugene Vindman also says, Secretary of War, you will be held accountable for illegal orders you give. This demands congressional investigation in the unredacted video of the strike and radio recordings of the orders given need to be shared with Congress and the American people immediately. A lot of folks think that Pete Hegseth should have resigned or been fired following the initial Signalgate activity. So J.D. Vance is complicit. He says, killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. Brian Krasenstein says, killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime. J.D. Vance responds, I don't give a shit what you call it. Well, I hope that the people that investigate this try to find out every single person who willfully, ignored, what we believe in our country, which is due process. And you have people arguing, no, they were such a threat, they needed to be taken out. Really? Don't we have a thing called a Coast Guard that can intercept these boats, board them, take the drugs, find out where they're coming from? The way it's been done literally forever. I just saw Pete Hegseth referred to as whiskey leaks, and now I can't stop laughing. That's right. It's because he's a drunk. And that's the guy in charge of our nation's defense, or as now they call it, the Department of War. Over the weekend, Trump also said all planes over Venezuela need to halt. They're declaring, or I guess preparing to invade. Let me say that again. Did you hear me? The United States of America is preparing to invade Venezuela. And it's not about fentanyl or drugs. It's about oil and other resources that they can extract from them. This is the president who said he would stop all these wars. Maybe he's justified because he thinks he negotiated peace between Israel and Gaza, which of course has not exactly held up. And he's negotiated peace in other parts of the world. So maybe he thinks he's entitled one little war. I honestly don't know. In other news involving our president, and by the way, we have some people that go, Dave, you're so deranged to be talking about this. Really, the other side is just as bad. You don't understand that it's all on fire. You don't understand that the Constitution is in danger, democracy is in danger, and these are just the facts. And if we do make it out of it, democracy and our country make it out of this shitstorm, there's going to be hell to pay for those that willfully violated all of the parts of our country, everything our military has fought for to make our country a unique experiment of democracy. No lie what Brian Tyler Cohen posted this. A top Republican in Indiana, whose daughter has Down syndrome, just announced he will be voting to block Trump's gerrymandering after Trump used the R word to insult people yesterday. That's right. Trump called Governor Tim Walz the R word. Perhaps he can use the next 10 months to convince voters that his policies and behavior deserve a congressional majority. And a lot of people replied to that and said, really, dude? That's your line that he crossed of all the things that he did. Now, because it affects you, you understand. And sadly, there's people out there that have empathy for others. And then there's a lot of folks that until it affects something near and dear to their heart, they don't care about it. And that might be your anti-war stance or wanting the Epstein files released or, lowering grocery prices. I don't know what it is, but it seems as though whatever goodwill Trump had from securing the border is all but gone, as he has now got the lowest pollings, really, I believe, of any president ever in history. Let's go to Governor Tim Walz, who, I think Trump refers to as Tampon Tim, because he used taxpayer funding to provide, hygiene products for people in public schools. Have a listen to Tim's response after the president called him the R word.
We got a guy on Thanksgiving where we spent time with our families, we ate, we played Yahtzee, we cheered for football or whatever. This guy is apparently in a room ranting about everything else. This is not normal behavior. It is not healthy. And presidents throughout time have released a couple things. They've released their tax returns, not Donald Trump, and they've released their medical records, not Donald Trump. And look, the MRI is one thing, but I think what's most concerning about this is, as your viewers out there are listening, has anyone in the history of the world ever have an MRI assigned to them and have no idea what it was for, as he says? So look, it's clear the president's fading physically. I think the mental capacity, again, ranting, crazily at midnight on Thanksgiving about everything else. There's reasons for us to be concerned. This is a guy that randomly says the airspace over Venezuela is closed. He's ruminating on if you could win a nuclear war. Look, this is a serious position. It's the most powerful position in the world. And we have someone at midnight throwing around slurs that demonize our children. And at the same time, he's not solving any of the problems.
There it is. I think he explained it pretty well there, right? Now, that's not all Trump is doing. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we have a special election here in Tennessee in one of the districts, and it is Afton Bain running as a Democrat against Van Epps. They call him Van Epstein, a Trump clone. And here's what Trump has to say. He's got all of the woke bingo terms here. He said, I'm asking all America First patriots in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District who haven't voted yet to please get out and vote on Election Day, Tuesday, December 2nd, for a phenomenal candidate, Matt Van Epps. Matt is fighting against a woman who hates Christianity, will take away your guns, wants open borders, transgender for everybody, men and women's sports, and openly disdains country music. She said all these things precisely and without question. It's on tape. Do not take this race for granted. The radical left Democrats are spending a fortune to beat one of the best candidates we've ever had, Matt Van Epps. You can win the election for Matt. Get out and vote for Matt Van Epps, who has my complete complete and total endorsement. He will never let you down. Matt Van Epps took several $1 million in this. And by the way, I think the Republicans are spending like 3 or 4 to 1 against the Democrats here. She's not taking corporate money, and he took several $1 million from Amazon. Who do you think has your best interest? So that race will be very interesting, as about 80% of those in Nashville are in Davidson County, which is a part of the district, are voting Democrat, which is a high majority. But in these other districts, it's more like farmland and rural. And so that it'll really come down to how many people vote from the Nashville area versus how many people vote from the suburbs. And will people turn up for this election after, a real abysmal year where literally no one feels like they're in a better place now than they were a year ago? We'll have to see. I'm excited. And by the way, it was a plus 22 polling for Trump. He won this in a landslide, and now it is essentially tied. Van Epps has a +2 lead on Afton Bain, according to polling. What does that mean? We'll have to. If I had to bet on it, which I don't, I'm not a betting man. I think the Republicans win and squeak one by. But if Afton Bain wins this thing, it's going to be one of the biggest political upsets in history, and it'll be telling about what's to come. Let me know what you guys think. We'll be back this afternoon. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a 5-star review on the audio podcast. Find it on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen. Appreciate your time. We'll see you then. I'm Dave. This is The Rush.